Oh, hey, you're here. It's about time. Well, now, let's get started here. My goal is to teach you each and every main chapter boss, and their lore, and their statistics, yada yada whatever. But before we get started, I'll also teach you the loadouts you can use for each one, recommendations, and so on and so forth. Use this as some sort of tutorial, if you will. Now, let's go to the first boss. Welcome to Ultimate Paintball, your first mini-boss stage. Here, as you can see the fabulous 1250 health, that's Paymaster. A goon designed just to get you on your toes. Oh, and also to teach you how to play the game properly, I suppose. This person has two abilities. Their paintball, as which you'll see soon, and their sniper, in which you'll see in a few minutes, if you will. Well, besides that, their normal damage is around 25 on the stage, and their sniper, yeah, it's a one-shot for whenever you fight him. But don't worry, it's not AoE or whatever you call it, it's single target. So as long as you keep spawning in people correctly, and to manage your money, cannons, etc., you should perform really well on the stage. Try not to waste your bricks whenever you fight this boss, as you'll need a person for later. And when I say that, I mean it. Ouch. Now, on to the next step, which is to after killing him, you're gonna have to kill the base, in which you learned for the past 9 stages, of course. But beware, this is gonna be really tough on your magnification, aka levels. So I would recommend maxing your units first before fighting each boss. Oh, as much as you can. For Paintmaster, I'd recommend level 5. And for the next one, well, level 10. Now that he's down, all you have to do is push. Time for the next one. Welcome to Rocket Arena, the second mini-boss you'll face, which is Jet Rock. 3000 health is a real big step up from the last one, huh? No worries. This time you're gonna really have to focus on what he does, as his attacks now sport higher damage, lower cooldown, but this is sported by area of effect damage. His is particularly higher than what you've already encountered with the Rocket Battlers. Oh, and in fact, he probably does like double the damage. Yeah, that too. This guy has 2 abilities, somewhat like Paintmaster. He has his normal rocket launcher, or bazooka, and he has a attack, which will let him target your backliners. I would be careful of that if I were you, and I would really be careful with bomb battlers. It's really important to have Rocket Battler in a really good level here, or you could just, spam slingshots. That counts too, I guess. What's most important here is to have your 3 meat shields here. Battler, Trowel, and Sword to a good enough level to where they can tank multiple attacks. Battler's optional to tank. However, he's a really good cheap option to use. And by the way, I hope you really have upgraded your base so far, because you won't get any money, as base importance is priority. Otherwise, you won't be able to get as far as you hope you would. Trust me, I've seen plenty of people get stuck here because they didn't upgrade their base. Goodbye, Jet Rock. Now, what's next is to destroy the base. Welcome to Doomspire Brick Battle, your final challenge of the tutorial. This opponent's foe is Doombringer. Yeah, the moderator. We all love him, but you won't love him here. Now, I've seen plenty of people get so mad over this boss, but there's the thing. You know how I said to save your bricks? Well, there's one unit that's really useful for this boss fight, and that's Paintball Battler, as his level 10 does huge backliner damage, and, well, ignores armor, I should say. And you want to know how much armor this Doombringer has? 40. 40 armor. So if you don't upgrade your base, don't upgrade your units, and decide you want to keep continuing, have fun trying to do over 1 damage to him. Doombringer has quite the holster of abilities. For once, his Hammer Slam might think, well, it can't be that bad aside from Jetrock's AoE. Well, it can be. His base attack damage is 100, or in this magnification, 200. His critical, which happens at, well, the first 2 hits of his attack, does double this damage, doing 400. Oh, and you might think, well, what could possibly happen? This will, actually. Yeah, he gets greater AoE if he manages to land an attack, but with this, he gets an extra plus 2 seconds to his cooldown. Oh, and I forgot to mention, he can also boost his allies with his own armor. But otherwise, next to it, whenever he reaches 25 health, you'll unleash this monstrosity of a move. Make sure he's not at your base at this moment. And go berserk, losing all of his armor in the process, and instead doing 33% damage with a small AoE, having faster attack in this process. By the way, did I ever mention that he's vulnerable with 2000 health in this state? Other than that, should be relatively easy to kill as long as you have distance from your base, and, well, an upgraded units and base. I managed to defeat this guy in one go because I managed to actually have the motivation to grind. I mean, seriously, it helps out a lot to help grind out your units. Oh, and please, 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 do not use Gatling at this stage. It won't do anything. You must use default. Oh, and yeah, Sniper Battler, of course, Sniper Battler. But what's left now is to destroy the base. Hello, welcome to Chapter 2, the main chapter that will teach you to stack backliners and to actually manage your team properly, with whatever is coming at you. Don't worry, there's going to be lots of AoE here. You better be prepared. Welcome to Galleons. Our first mini-boss here is Captain Red. I heard from someone else that he controls a trade of this area, but particularly, I don't think we were a fan of that. So we're here to, well, eliminate him. Permanently. Forever. And ever. Anyways, besides that, what you really need to note here is his huge AoE and sheer damage when he charges up. Oh, and don't think your Titan is safe either. Because this guy, super knockback. Yeah, you heard it. There's a knockback, but super. Wait, what's going on? Oh. Yeah, forgot to mention he's really easily taken care of if you have Gatling. Because, well, no one has armor besides Gatling here, and even then they don't spawn very quickly. Your main threat here, well, besides the obvious, is what the Bucket Attacker says. If you're not careful, can, well, trade your Titan for a default battler. And we all don't want that happening now, do we? Now, other than that, he's red traded, which means at half health he'll gain a boost in damage, and he'll let a little explosion, which does little damage. At higher magnification, this will for sure change. Now, I kinda explained all I could, but he has a few abilities. Well, one slowing down your units, and basically the rest that boosts his allies. But he only had 2 abilities from the get-go. I'll see you at the next one. Welcome to the disco party. It's the man, the myth, and the person with a really bad music, DJ Radical. You know, this guy had a plushie one time. It's off sale probably by the time I'm making this. But his tunes are so terrible that your units, yeah, they don't particularly like it, and thus they get stunned for a few seconds. So I would not recommend rushing this guy. I'd recommend saving up as much as possible. Oh, and make sure you have Bomb Battler, because that's going to be really useful here, what you're about to see. Yeah, that useful. Because that person you just saw is Road Bumper. They're going to be your living nightmare in, well, forever since you see her. Because it's really, really annoying to take care of her. Now, you might see this and say, oh, well, can I save up for a few minutes? No, of course not. You're going to have to take care of those slingshots. And, well, the trumpet, I guess. So, by this point, you really should have a lot of money saved up for your encounter with DJ Radical. Now, DJ Radical has a few abilities. Well, first and foremost, being his main attack, which is very horrible beats that globally annoy, aka stun, and knock back your little units just a little bit. Which, any knockback's really bad knockback. Especially the recoil cannon. You'll unlock that in a subchapter that I will not explain, because I'm not here for your subchapters. Overall, I really hope you have some anti-reds right about now, besides Sword Battler. Because, I mean, seriously, what's wrong with you if you don't? I would recommend not getting any Rangers here, as well. They're gonna get killed off really quickly. Oh, his second ability is to... well, yeah, do that. I'm pretty sure that does 1,000 base damage, so I think Magnification... yeah, everything's getting one shot. While his main truck ability does around... I'd say a good 50. As well. He does a lot of damage here. Well, I mean, it's a cart. Your final opponent of Chapter 2. Well, he's gonna teach you real quick that you're going to need to stack backliners and to have hefty frontliners. Because, well, despite him seeming underwhelming on casual, you'll see here in a little bit. Yeah, 20,000 HP. Yeah, no armor, thankfully, but that's still a lot of HP to chunk down. Especially with all the units you're gonna have to deal with. So you might think to yourself, what in tarnation could possibly counter this unit? And I say to that, have you ever heard of, well, Grunt? Yeah, I mean, it's in your specials, but it has a gun. Guns equal fast attack rate. Fast attack rate with no armor? Yeah, you're gonna shred him. Not to note the fact that Grunt is in fact anti-red. So obviously that's gonna do a lot of damage. And the best way to deal with this character too is to equip Gatling Cannon. And if you have it already or don't, I would recommend getting or having investment. As, well, it's a long, long fight. Turking has a cluster of abilities. One being a slash, does burn damage, and, well, that's over time. So you can understand why it does a lot of damage. His second ability is to slam his sword into the ground, and his third is to call out and make Chicken Lover 3000 on at half health. Does, I think, around a base of 250, so of course that's going to do a measly amount of well, thousands of damage whenever he lands. Please note that Telemon is better than your Titan and will heal much faster than your Telemon. So he's gonna be a real hassle. Oh, on Turking's final phase, he will chew up and eat a spicy chicken leg and gain 25% of his health back, and then vomit all over your front lines and then proceed to teach you why you should have stacked front lines before this. If you manage to kill Turking, then he will put you outside of your long-time bounty debt of 15 years and constantly trying to manage to stay afloat by giving you 8,000 if you already have upgraded your base. Now, after this, all you have to do is to push to the base and win. Oh, and by the way, you also get the treasure cannon they had. Ooh, money, jingle jingle. Ugh, alright, I'll stop. Next up is, well, Chapter 3. Hi, looks like you made it to the almanac. Here, I'll tell you each and every boss that we just went over. Oh, but we already did, didn't we? No, I'll tell you their lore. Let's get started with the first one, shall we? For the first one, we have Paintmaster. Now, I did explain him a little earlier ago, but not well enough. As you can see here, he has 1000 base HP, 20 base damage, 40 range, and he attacks every 2 seconds, while only moving at 1 stud per second, which is fairly slow. He spends his time spraying graffiti over private properties, so obviously he's a bum, and he also gets confused as a woman. You know, I'm not really surprised. He doesn't really speak often. But yeah, he obviously gets confused as a woman a lot, and thus, most of the time he's misgendered, which he really particularly doesn't like. Now, if I really want to go too much in depth, and for the people who really want to know for some reason, he goes by he, him, not they, them, not she, her, etc. On our second roster, we have Jet Rock. They used to have a completely different design where they'd be, well, looking like a rock. But apparently, he didn't like the idea and protested. So he became a flying marine with a rocket launcher. Now, his base stats were 2000 base HP, 30 range, attacks every 6 seconds with 60 damage. Base damage. So, naturally, he's going to do a lot of damage. It's a rocket launcher that he's carrying anyway. Jet Rock goes by, well, he, him. His grenade move will make him target purely backlines, and will throw around 6 to 10 grenades, each of them doing around 10 to 8 damage, and doing slight AoE. For the final boss of Chapter 1, Doombringer, he is not actually the real Doombringer, although he's inspired by him. Apparently, this moderator is a person with severe hatred against any rule breaker, this be exploiters, cheaters, etc., and will use every single ounce of his power he has in order to ban them all. His base stats are 20 armor, 4000 health, and massive 100 damage. This comes across in 8, he attacks every 8 seconds, and he only has 8 range, although he's a really, really big bruiser. Captain Redbeard, also known as Redbeard previously, actually has a rework. Now, with his new rework, he has 2000 health, 32 range, he attacks every 3 seconds, and has 50 damage. Upon charging up, will do double the damage and a bigger AoE, but without this, you'll just have the normal 50 damage and a very small AoE. He does super knockback, so your Titan Battler will in fact be knocked back. The final boss of Chapter 2, Turking, the king of all the sword fights on the heights. With a massive 8000 base HP, 30 damage, but attacks every 5 seconds, and a much slower 0.75 walk speed, with 9 range. Just one more than our previous final boss. He doesn't really seem like he takes that battle very seriously since he's more focused on eating or just doing something goofy rather than fighting. However, it's really advised to try and stack everything you can before he reaches his limit. I'll see you another time, and until then, goodbye!